Okay, so here's the lead guitar component, and the first thing that you'll notice is that the interface for the layer system has been simplified. So for example, if I'm editing a layer, you no longer have the key switch controls down here and the rest of the conditions up here, but you have all the conditions in the same place right here with these drop-down menus. So key switches are now part of the drop-down menu for the conditions, as well as now you have speed, and you can even add in randomness to your mappings. So it works a lot more like Mind Control does. It's a lot easier to use and actually more powerful as well. So I'll move on and just show you a few of the other new controls. So let's see, in starting out with articulations, you can adjust the velocity curve per layer, and also the amount of pre-roll samples used. And then you also have something that's new and really cool is different legato modes. So right now the default value is strict legato mode, which means if you overlap two notes within the specified legato range, which is set right here with a minor third, so if you play overlapping notes within that range, then it will always play as legato. So rather than having to, with the old version you had to consider, which strings it was playing and stuff like that, now using the strict legato mode, it will always play legato within those intervals. So that also makes it really convenient to play, for example, sliding octaves or a fourth, that plays legato. So I'll show you what that sounds like. Here's an octave playing with a legato. Or it could be a fourth like this. So that's a lot easier to play on keyboard and to sequence with too. But I've left in the old legato mode right here, which is by string, of course, and then you have lock, which will basically locks the fretting to a single string, which makes it nice for playing, for example, some tapping riffs and stuff like that. It's a nice option to have, though it's usually used momentarily, so you'd switch back to one of the other legato modes and only use that momentarily. So let's see some of the other controls. I think the picking is pretty much the same. Okay, so this is cool actually. The different pitch bend modes. Right now, the way it used to be is you'd have highest and lowest modes for which notes got affected by the pitch bend, and those used to correspond with the highest string played and the lowest string played. It works, but that's not the most intuitive way of going about it. So I changed that. Instead of highest string and lowest string, it's now highest note and lowest note. So that way if you play two notes like this and bend, it will always bend the highest note, or if I set that to lowest, it will always bend the lower of the notes. Like that. So anyway, that's a lot easier to play from your keyboard. So let's see, vibrato and resonance is pretty much the same. And then the other thing that got added is adjustment for the key switches. So now instead of having the key switches automatically and dynamically set based on the range of the instrument, which of course depends on the tuning of the guitar, now you can actually just set the keys that you want those key switches on. So the flutter and the repeat last note played. And then I've also added two other key switches, which is a new feature, which basically you can hold down some notes and you can strum them like this. So anyway, you have one key for a downstroke and one key for an upstroke, but basically it makes it really convenient to play fast power chords. For example, you can just hold down the power chord and strum it, with 30-second notes or whatever, or a complicated pattern or something like that. So it basically adds that other option for your performances. So anyway, I think that's all of the changes. I think there was also an update to the way that the fretting of the strings was determined. It's a little more realistic now. So anyway, I hope the video was useful to you, and I'll be talking to you soon.